I'm Stephen Goldberg of Optimus Performance, bringing you practical tips on leadership, team development, and employee performance management in the workplace. And I'm here in Florida on vacation with my friend Nick Guerra, and we were talking about leadership, and Nick has a very strong background in the Army and private sector in management and leadership. And he said something to me, or a few things, that I thought it would be great to share with you guys. And so Nick, just give us a little background about yourself, and so people get a perspective on that.
Okay. Well, I served 24 years in the United States Army with a varied background there and many command and staff positions. I started off as an Army Ranger, air assault, Pathfinder kind of guy, jumping out of airplanes and breaking things and having a lot of fun. Then the Army sent me to grad school to get a master's degree in business to come to Orlando, Florida and manage our virtual simulation program. So I was having fun doing that, and they thought it would be good to send me to the Pentagon. Went there for 3 long and exciting years. You learn a lot of things that kind of why we do what we do. Not that you like it, but at least you understand the decisions that the Army makes. Came back to Orlando, Florida, and managed the production of all our flight simulators, tank simulators, every weapon system that has a simulator. We put that together. Lockheed Martin is a prime with about 30 subs. And did that for several years, and then got orders back to the Pentagon, and that's when the family says, hey, can we just stop traveling and maybe settle down? I had already done 24 years of active and 4 years reserve, so we decided we would retire. And fortunately, I had 14 job offers to work in industry here in Orlando, and so I accepted a job to be the Director of Operations, managing and doing the service and support for all our simulators worldwide. So I did that for about 10 years, and then we were at a directors meeting in California where Computer Sciences Corporation, we're 60,000 strong, and we brought in all our regional managers and directors from countries, and I complained about the business development guys were not doing a good job. So they asked me if I would be the director of business development. So I did that for about 5 years, actually working from home in managing that. And my first contract was a $60 million win. That went over very well. So after about 4 or 5 years, I was thinking, man, I'd really like to be cycling. I'd really like to be paddleboarding. And so I decided to retire. Here we are 2 years just having a really good time.
Fantastic. Now, we were talking about managing people, and you spoke to me about this quadrant, and I know often managers get promoted into a position where they inherit different people, different personalities, different attitudes, and or they're hiring people, and sometimes they end up with varied perspectives on work. So you were talking about these 4 quadrants, and I thought it would be very interesting to share that. Can you describe that or explain that again to me?
Yeah, and it's actually a quite simple philosophy, but very effective. If you have a square with the quadrants, in top left-hand corner, you have the folks that are unwilling and incapable. Just don't want to do it and can't do it. Bottom right-hand quadrant, or however you want to mix it up, those are very willing and very capable, and those are the guys that are just totally pumped about this, and they physically can do that. The other 2 quadrants, one is unwilling and capable, the other one is incapable and willing. And so each of these 4, you've got to treat them totally different, and as a military guy, I would look for those guys who are unwilling and incapable, so I could literally remove them from the pool, because I don't want that guy mixed in with our other soldiers, and he could risk their life. The guys that are willing and capable, I want to rise them to the top really quick, challenge them, help them excel, because they will probably be our leaders in the future. And the other guys, I got to work with them. I try to work hard at their strengths show them where their weaknesses are and help work on that. And so some of the folks you can help, some of them you can't, and you got to understand that. And sometimes you spend 90% of the time on 10% of your problem children, but you work hard as trying to get everybody, the whole group, to to do well.
So basically, you want to spend your most valued time with your most potential people, with the people that you know you can propel to become really top performers.
Well, yeah.
And eliminate the bottom performers, or the ones that you know there's probably no hope for.
Yeah. If you have a team in the military, if you're going to go fight a battle, you really have to have everybody pull their weight and be a team member.
Right.
And there is very little room for those that are not performing well. If a guy is a little slow, you can help him become faster. If a guy needs remedial PT, remedial training with weapons or something, you can do that. You can get that guy up to par, and you want to help them as much as you can. In industry, if you have a team, you want everybody pulling their weight, and you have subject matter experts in each area, and they've got to be trained for that. If they are just not able to get there, you've really got to figure out and make a decision that they're not going to make it on this team. Very little time, and you've got a lot to do. So the earlier you identify where those people fit, and the type of character like that you get from a Myers-Briggs personality.
Some type of assessment.
Yeah, an
so
assessment.
It's important to really get to know and understand people, and having maybe an assessment can help you to keep that understanding, that knowing of people consistent, having a tool, kind of like a tool that you would use for anything to help you know people better.
Oh yeah, and once you understand what type of person that person is, it's much easier to work with them.
Yeah.
And you know what to expect, their responses and how they adjust. But it's kind of fun working with teams and building teams.
Yeah.
And I always look for ways, and I would literally ask my staff and people, what do you want to be when you grow up? Where do you want to go? Which channel? And I would work very hard either to get this guy in a staff position or logistics or administration, whatever works best for that person, help them get there.
Yeah.
I'd like to thank Nick for taking the time to share this. When he explained it to me, I thought it was a really useful concept that could be very practical. In fact, I made a form that you can use to classify each one of your employees. So if you're inheriting a new team, you would want to list them in one of the 4 quadrants, depending on how you perceive them. And you could also do this with existing employees. And then there's a part where you could list their names and what action plan you intend to take. Thank you for listening. Thanks again to Nick. Check out some of the other videos on the channel. There's one recommended for you right now, and there's playlists on leadership and team development, and we'll talk again soon.